G'day, it's Pete here, and today I wanted to give a lesson on how to be a good partner. I actually get asked this question a lot, like they want to improve, they want to be a better partner, but they don't know what to do. They've got some vague ideas that they should be nice to their partner and things like that. But I really wanted to go through a few different things that I really like to do to be a good partner and how to improve your partnership overall. So number one is that you actually want to review your hands after every session. So some things that people do is they'll play a session of bridge and then that's it, and they'll go their separate ways, and that's all the bridge they do. I think it's really important as a player and a partnership to review these hands afterwards. So get the hand record if you can, sit down and discuss. If you don't have the time for that, maybe you can email each other, something. But you want to go over the hands, discuss them with your partner. Now, what I really like about this is a dedicated time when you can discuss the screw-ups you might have actually had at the table. So like, you don't want to discuss the screw-ups while you're at the table. The screw-ups you have, you want to discuss them afterwards. This time for review, this is when you can discuss what went wrong, how to improve for the next time. And by having this designated time where you can talk and discuss through the options means that when you're at the table, you don't actually need to feel like you need to get to your partner and tell them how much they stuff something up, because you know that you'll have your time to discuss things with them. And then the second part about this is that if you are going to discuss hands where you think your partner stuffed up, what you want to do is ask for their reasoning first. Don't assume that you are necessarily right and they have definitely stuffed this up. This is really important. Your partner might have had some reasoning that you didn't see, and if you ask them what they were thinking about first, then you might learn something yourself. Secondly, you get them sort of focused more on the topic and going through what they were actually thinking, and you can find the exact spot where their reasoning broke down if they actually did this. So if you have a mistake, rather than telling them how much they screwed up this board, just ask them for their reasoning first, and then you can discuss why you think they could have done it better. But this should all be done at the end of a session, or at least end of a match. You don't want to do this at the table. And the reason is because if you start berating your partner or telling them how they've stuffed up a hand, they're going to think about it and they're going to not be playing their best for the next hand. It might make you feel good, but it'll make your partner feel terrible, and you're a partnership, so you don't want to make your partner feel bad. So don't ever just rush to like tell your partner off. There is a time and a place. This is at the end of the session. This is when you should be discussing the hands. Good or bad, review the hands and make sure you ask your partner for their reasoning first before you try and correct them and get them, tell them why you think that they actually should have done something different. The second key point overall on how to be a good partner is partnerships are built on respect. Sometimes when you go away and you play a tournament, you feel like you left and you played okay, but your partner played really poorly. Okay, but what you want to do is after you've reviewed the hands, you might realize that you didn't actually spot all the mistakes that you did. When you're playing bridge, it's really easy to spot your partner's mistakes, especially when you're dummy, because you're not doing anything else and you can just see these errors happen. Whereas you don't get into their mind to realize what they were thinking about, and also you know why you made your mistakes. So most often people see their partner's mistakes more than their own, because it's really easy to accept that someone else is making mistakes but not you. So what you want to do is have respect in your partnership and understand that you probably make more mistakes than you actually realize, and be accepting that your partner makes mistakes. Bridge is a game all about mistakes, and you want to try and limit them, but they're going to happen no matter what level partnership you actually have. So be considerate, understand that your partner will be making mistakes, but you probably are making ones that you don't notice as well. So you don't want to be blasting them at the table. This is really important. You're on the same side, you want to work together for a common goal. So some people have issues like I say don't tell people off at the table, but they get so heated in emotion that they're really focused, they're really competitive, and they want to try and do it. So what can you do in those cases is you want to try and work on your emotions. You think that you can't just release, and it's not okay to just berate people at the table. Think of like the tennis players that you like. There are some tennis players that just yell and yell and yell, and this is a single player sport where it's almost okay, and people still don't like it when they do that. It's even worse in a partnership environment. There's almost no successful team sport or partnership game where people yell at each other in live sports. So it's really something that you want to work on. Understand that if you have an issue with your emotions and getting too heated, is that you need to come up with ways to release that. And I'll discuss some more of that in a little bit. Another thing that I like to do with respect is sort of positive affirmation. When I'm declaring a hand or when I'm dummying, what I like to say is if I'm declaring and partner puts down their hand, every single time I say, thank you, nice hand. And it's just something that makes my partner feel good, that they feel more comfortable if I do it. Also, when I'm putting dummy down, I say good luck. And people ask me, do I say that every time? And the answer is yes. We're a partnership. I want to say things that make us feel like we're working together. This isn't for everyone, but to me it's like patting someone on the back when you're playing a sport. It's something just to say, yeah, thank you. I really like, it doesn't matter whether you make a mistake. If you watch doubles tennis, people hit a ball out of court and their partnership still goes back and hits them on the back, saying we're working together. It's really important for that. So Steph just said, for people who are over emotional, I recommend asking them to go to the toilet if something bad happens in a match and letting it out there. Yeah, so one other tip for if you think something's going wrong. What I like to do in a partnership is if I think my partner needs a break or they're not being good, I ask them to go get a water if they're dummy. I send them away from the table. Or if I know I'm doing it, I'll go up and get away from the table. Walk away, grab a water, go to the bathroom, do something where you can just vent, get over it. Take a break there. That's really important that if you are getting like that, you want to be able to distance yourself and just take a moment, whether it be going to the toilet or grabbing water or anything like that, where you can actually just release your emotions like that. So back on like positive reinforcement to your partner. When I put down dummy, I say good luck. When I'm declarer, I say thanks, nice hand. And if my partner makes a hand, I say well done. If they go down, I say bad luck. Just things like that, just to make sure they know that we're actually in a partnership. These are little things that help you get into the right mindset that keeps saying we're on the same side. And if things go wrong, it's okay. We're going to work together. Not everyone likes this, but I really like it as a strategy just to grow the bond for a partnership. And it's also polite. It's nice. Who knows that? Another thing that Justin and I did to deal with mistakes in high pressure environments was before we sat down to play, what we would discuss is we would say, all right, we know we're going to be making some mistakes. So what's our quota for mistakes? So we had this thing where we were allowed 1 butchery and 3 misguesses for a day of bridge. And what this means is a butchery is when your brain just melts, like you just completely destroy a hand of bridge and it makes, like what you did made no sense, but you just had one of those moments and everything fell apart. A misguess was whether you could have picked up a suit better, or you could have just played something slightly better. You were just off a little bit. So we gave ourselves a quota of like 1 butchery, 3 misguesses per day. And what happened is if we went beyond that and used up more of that quota, then we'll just buy our partner a drink at the afterwards. And the way of by doing this, then if you're the partner and you're watching your partner play poorly, then you know you're at least getting a drink, and you've got this sort of fun. You're watching the mistakes happen, But you don't feel bad because first of all, you accepted that these mistakes will happen. And secondly, if your partner keeps making them, then you know you're going to get a drink or whatever sort of reward you actually want at the end. So for really high pressure events, we found this really, really useful to just sort of focus ourselves and make sure that the emotion wasn't getting too much for us. Firstly, we accepted that mistakes were going to happen. And then finally, we were like, okay, if they happen too much, don't worry, I understand that I played badly. Here's a drink, and you can get on over it that way. And it sort of made it a sort of mini game out of it that we wanted to not use up our quota. We didn't want to use these, so we wanted to be really focused, and we realized that we were doing this. So it was also a way to try and sharpen ourselves mentally to make sure that we were actually playing well. So these are my general tips for being a good partner. Something else I wanted to talk about for being a good partnership is you really want system notes. Make sure you document your agreements. You want rules of when things are penalty doubles, and you want different rules. So write them down, and then you can check with that whenever there's a disagreement. You'll make your partnership accountable by doing it. So make sure if you're a partnership, you have a set of system notes somewhere where you've got your agreements written down, so you can go back and refer to them when there's actually a disagreement, and you can actually refine it. Sometimes you'll find spots where your system notes don't have enough detail, and then you can start filling them in, and your partnership will grow if you actually write them down and you can refer back to them later. So if you don't have system notes, it's really important that you discuss stuff, then write it down. It makes your partnership accountable, and you can then go back and refer to that when people actually do have mistakes. So just to recap on how to actually be a good partner. First step is review the hands after every session. So not for just mistakes. You want to go over all the different boards, work out what you were doing well, what you were doing poorly, any questions you actually had. Discuss these at the end of the session. This is the time and the place where you can discuss screw-ups or mistakes that people had. Don't do it at the table. It puts your partner off, and it's a really bad thing. The second thing is, if your partner did make a mistake, make sure you ask for their reasoning first. So find out why they were doing what they were actually doing, because first, they might not have made a mistake. They might have had a perfectly reasonable, logical line of play that they took that happened not to work. Otherwise, if you find out why they were doing something, then you can see where the break in their reasoning was, and you can actually address the issue there. Then, secondly, we want to look at respect. Partnerships are built on respect. You're on the same side. Try and work together. So getting angry at your partner doesn't actually help this. Secondly, it's really easy to spot your partner's mistakes and not so much of your mistakes. So you'll be getting annoyed because you can spot these, but really you should go over and look over your hands really importantly, because you probably made a decent amount of mistakes as well. So don't get angry at your partner just because their mistakes are really easy to see, especially when you're dummy. So you're on the same side. You'll spot their mistakes more than you'll spot your own usually. So be respectful for them. Don't just attack them at the table verbally or berate them. You can discuss things afterwards, but always be pleasant about it. Then you want to work on your emotions. So if you're getting heated for whatever reason, take a break. Go to the bathroom, go grab a water, vent it out there if you need to. You can come back and then be focused at the table when you actually need to be. And also sort of positive reinforcement. You're a partnership, work together. I like to say, thank you, nice hands, or good luck, things like that. Just minor things that are like a little pat on the back to make yourselves feel good and know that you two are a partnership. And then the final thing that I covered is you want system notes, and you want to document your actual system. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this lesson on how to be a good partner, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.